Good evening. My name is Elijah Lewis, and I am one of the top 100 authors to watch in 2025 for the Aspiring Authors magazine. And I'm also a motivational speaker. And today I'll be telling you about my book, Your Jewels Are in Your Journey: Life Lessons to Lead You to Your Optimal Self. And what this book is about, it is for anyone looking for a sense of guidance and perspective of how to be their optimal self. And what I tell people is on our journey, we typically learn three things. One, life lessons or jewels. Two, the people that come in contact with us to help us be our optimal selves or jewels. And finally, the most important jewel of all is that you yourself are a jewel. If you don't know who you are, it's hard to know where you're going. And I tell everybody we are all on a journey. So with that said, we need to have the proper perspective and essentially how to have the proper roadmap to get to the ultimate destination, which is to be our optimal self. So if you want to learn more, you can go to my website, order your copy at www.elijahlewis.org. You can also follow me on. Good evening. My name is Elijah Lewis, and I am one of the
Hello, everybody. This is Black Diamond from the Crew Network, and you're listening to Basic Black After Dark, the show that meets you where you are and gives you what you ask for. Tonight, we're diving into the world of fashion, confidence, and empowerment with none other than Stephanie Johnson Rice, also known as the Peculiar Princess. She is a proud resident of the electric city of Anderson, South Carolina. Stephanie is here to share her journey, the inspiration behind her modeling school, and how she's changing lives by helping others embrace their unique beauty. So sit back, relax, and get ready for unforgettable conversation. Please welcome back, because she's been here before, the Peculiar Princess for an inspiring conversation about building confidence, breaking barriers, and empowering individuals to embrace their unique beauty. So let's get into it. Now, Stephanie's been having a little bit of problems trying to get in. Of course, she's in South Carolina, and I'm not sure how the weather is, but I'm going to talk to you a little bit about modeling. Growing up, a lot of people want to be models. They want to be the next, I guess, Naomi Campbell, Twiggy, Tyra Banks, and that's just to name a few. But models come in all shapes and sizes. They have plus size models and they are breaking the runway. They are running that runway like no other. There's some beautiful, beautiful plus size models, and they're doing their thing on the runway. Now, I know that I've been seeing lately little girls modeling, and they're cute. They're cute little kids if they're in their little Shirley Temple shoes and their little fluffy skirts and whatnot. But what I've come across is some little girls, they're in heels. They're walking the runway in heels and they're no older than 7 and 8. And I understand that, little girls like wearing their parents' shoes and they play dress up. But these little girls are walking a runway. They're putting their hands on their hips. They're throwing that hand back. They're moving that dress and that skirt. And they're doing their thing going down the aisle. But what my question is to you, do you think it's appropriate for these little girls to be already running that runway? Hey, Shanette, thanks for joining me tonight. And yes, they are. When you say yes, they are, do you think that that is good for them to be doing that at such an early age, or do you think that they should be a little older, at least by 10? Because some of them can barely walk, and those heels, they're pretty high. Some of them look like their heels are higher than the ones that I even wear, and I could throw on some stilettos. But these little girls, they're walking it. I don't know whether this is just some kind of plaything that they're doing with these little girls or whether they're serious. But when you look at the expression on the face of these little girls, they mean business. They're working that runway. They're turning those heads. They have that little attitude, their head over their shoulder, and This is what they're doing. Well, my guest tonight, Stephanie Johnson Brace, she has been running this runway, and hers is unique and is different. And you really have to tune into her shows. I follow her on Facebook. She has, I think she's developed the Met Gala in South Carolina, and I keep saying that I'm going to come down there to watch it, but it's her style that got me. It's not the average modeling school, nor is it the models that walk her runway. When you see her style, she puts on more than just the walk of the runway. She gives you a show. She gives you a show, and you see it in her face. You see that in her hair. You know, she has these Bantu knots that she has, and they're so colorful. And she embodies it with her small frame, and she's so beautiful. Now, I can't wait for you guys to meet and to see her and to see what I see. But her models are a plus because they're walking that runway and they're working their thing. So we're going to see. Yeah, Jeanette says, I believe it is too soon for them to be wearing heels. Let them be little girls first. Yeah, because just like I'm watching them and seeing these little girls walk the runway in those heels, someone else is watching them as well. So be careful with your little girls. I'm not saying that you're raising your little girls wrong. I'm not saying that you're doing the wrong thing. It may just be fun for them to do. And I get that. But I have somebody here tonight that can tell you all about working that runway. My guest, the peculiar princess. Hey, sweetie, I'm so glad you was able to join us. And I can see her picture, but I'm not sure if she can come up on your screen yet. But I was giving them a little bit of insight of what I know. Now, I'm not a professional at all. I love watching it. So I love watching the fashion. But this woman is walking it. She is. I think she's designing her clothes. She's having these models strut their stuff with her designs, and it's just something that I've never seen before. So I'm hoping that others are paying attention because I think she's the one to watch. She's having a little bit of microphone problems, but yeah, just like I said, they always said boys will be boys, and now they're saying girls will be girls, but it's a little different. Boys will be boys. They play rough, they do things. As a young girl, we are raised more so to be nurturers, but we're breaking barriers, and I get that and I understand that. But if you have a little girl, and this is just my opinion, a mother of six girls and six boys, let them little girls be a little girl for as long as they can. Because when they're an adult for the rest of their life, and they can't turn that back around. No matter how much they would say, "Oh, I wish I was 15 again," or "I wish I was this age again." Because I'm just gonna go back to 25. I'm not gonna go before that because those years it wasn't that it was a struggle. It was just that I don't want to go back to high school. I don't want to go back to all the beginnings, and I don't want to go back to all those labor pains. I think I
Yeah.
can hear you. Hey, Stephanie, how are you, Miss Princess? I think she's off and online. I can hear you a little bit, but as I was saying, yeah, keep your little girl a little girl for as long as you can. Give her the tools that she needs to grow up. Playing makeup, fine. Putting on mommy's shoes on a Saturday morning, cute. Walking that one way with the hands on their hips, that's just my opinion. I think it's just a little bit too much for them to be at that age to be able to do things like that. They got gymnastics, they got what we did when we was in school, double dutch, we played tag, we played with dolls. Shoot, I'm telling you the truth, I played with dolls. I was 14 years old. And I didn't see nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, I still got some of my baby dolls upstairs, and I tell my grandkids, don't touch them. Don't touch those dolls. Those dolls are older than you. Don't touch those dolls. Someday they may be able to either play with them or have them, but I think that I was well rounded in that way of playing with dolls and well, at least some part of my life of being a little girl and enjoying the things that I was able to enjoy. Um, Trying to get into my sister's clothes. Yeah, I wanted to be grown and wear her stuff. She was a little older than me, and yeah, I would sneak some of her stuff and try to wear it. And I got caught a couple of times, but I never wore it outside. Just in the house and just having fun. And that was, I guess, in a different era, and maybe I need to catch up. But again, I would just ask that, ask your daughter if that's something that she wants to do. See if that's something that she wants to do. Don't live your life through your daughter by having her on stage because you wanted to be a model when you were younger. Or you wanted to be in a pageant because you were younger and you didn't either get the opportunity or it didn't work out for you. Maybe that's something that she doesn't want to do. Stephanie, are you with us yet? Or are you still having problems coming
Can you
on?
hear?
Because I wanted to ask Stephanie about her journey, to share a little bit about her journey and what inspired her to start her modeling school. Because she just seems to be taking over the South. So if there's a modeling school that you want your young one to go to and to start off, and don't get me wrong, because a lot of modeling schools start them off with poise. They do poise and they teach them how to walk and they teach them etiquette. So they do add a lot of that to that. So I'm not saying modeling schools are bad. I'm not saying it's a bad choice because they do learn other things. They do learn social skills as well in the modeling school. So don't let that be the focus. But sometimes you put on a show, and that might just be it, a fashion show, and that could be it. But there's some that dead on it. That every time you turn around, they're on that stage being a model. There's one young lady that I'm gonna be honest. I've been following her, and she's doing a great job at it. And she looked like she's enjoying herself, and the family seems to be very supportive of her. But I do still tend to wonder, when she got started, and if this is something that she wants to continue to do. But she's a beautiful young lady, and she's strutting her stuff down the aisle. I see you still trying to come in and say something. I can't hear you, but I know that you're trying, and I saw your picture up earlier. I'm not sure my producer can hear me, but I also would like for you to share what it means to be known as the Peculiar Princess. Now, I've gotten to know the Peculiar Princess last year, and I think that name suits her. I think being called the Peculiar Princess suits her because you have to follow her social media to see why she's considered the Peculiar Princess. Again, I still hear some moving around. And then I wanted to know how did she break into the modeling industry and what challenges did she face along the way? Breaking into the modeling industry is not easy. I know there was a time that they wanted the girls to be a size zero. And if they was a size three, they were considered too fat. They do that in gymnastics and they do that in other sports where they would tell these girls these things and some of them would starve themselves. But from what I know of the Peculiar Princess Modeling School, it's come as you are. And that's what I like so much about her program. It's come as you are. It doesn't matter what size you are. If you feel as though you have the ability to make it down that aisle and make it back without breaking your neck, because I know that's what probably something that I would do. I probably wouldn't be able to make it halfway down without asking somebody to help me halfway. Walking in stilettos on a regular basis. That I don't know if I can handle. I also wanted to find out from her who or what has been her biggest influence in her career. Because she's doing more than just modeling. She's doing more than just having the school. She's doing so much more. And I see your picture here. Are you live with me now? She usually has so much to say. And when she gets going, I'm gonna tell you, the princess, she'll take you there. She will definitely take you there. But what I also wanted to know was what was one defining moment in her career that shaped her to be the person who she is today. Because, like I said, to get to know Stephanie, you're getting to know an awesome person because she's real. She's gonna lay it out there. She's gonna tell you just how it is, and she's not gonna hold back. And I think that these young ladies that's going to her school is very lucky to have her because she's being honest with them. You know, if you're making a mistake, she's gonna let you know about it. If she's telling, if she's gonna tell you that this is not for you, maybe come back next year. She's not gonna be. I'm not gonna mention his name. He wears a black T-shirt, and some people are fearful of it when they go on certain singing shows. But she's not gonna be that harsh. She do care about you.
Yeah.
She do want you to be the best. But at that point in time, it might not be for you at that moment. But she's willing to work with you. I know because she's worked with some awesome young ladies, and I've seen them. I've seen them work that one way. You know, to what sets her modeling school apart from others in the industry, I think it's the authenticity from her. Being original, not holding back, not being afraid to take chances and to keep going no matter what anybody says. She just keeps going. How does she help her students build confidence, embrace their uniqueness? By being an example. See, I'm answering these questions because I think I know her well enough to know because I see these things in her by being an example. There's one picture that I have of her, and I just love that picture. And I just look at it, and it's a green background, and I just love that picture. But she has a picture, and she has this dominant face where she's standing on this. I think it's like a rock or something, and it's a beautiful background, but you don't notice that background because you see her. And I think this is what she exudes when she's talking to the young ladies that's in her modeling school. And I know when I ask what age group or demographic does her school primarily focus on, I've seen them come from just about everywhere.
Hmm.
Young, older, not going to say old, I'll say
Right.
older. And are you here with me, Stephanie?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sweetie. I can hear you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for joining us. And I hope I've been covering you. I hope I've
You
been covering
have.
you well
You made me sound so good. And sometimes you need to hear
because you are.
it's a whole, like, people see the photos, they see the glamour, but it literally is work. It really is that you're putting yourself into something to get an outcome. So, and just when you said I watch her, then you said I've got my favorite picture of her, it genuinely shows that you truly support. And a lot of people will invite me because most of the shows are outside of South Carolina. I travel a lot and I don't have like a person in the seats. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of
Yeah.
times people are like, okay, well, you got to sell this many tickets, and I have to let them know up front. I don't have a lot of people that travel with me like that. They would like to, but they are not able to. And so it made me, that was my favorite thing when you said, I sit there and I watch them. There is no age limit. I've seen them come from all walks of life. That she's honest and straightforward with you because it shows that you genuinely have your own personal investment in the person that you met and connected with on this podcast. And I love you even more for that. I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
I think you're awesome. I
Thank
think, you know, from the first day that I met you, I said it was just something in the voice and the things that you were saying. And then some of your little quirky side shows, I said, this woman, you just had me from that moment on. I
you.
said, that's that right there. That's it.
Yeah.
But the journey with the modeling, I was watching because I said it is different.
Yeah.
It's different than what I've seen. I've seen you working with your models, and I said that's just so different. You
Yeah.
know, I haven't been around a lot of individuals who have modeling schools. I know I took my nieces to model in school, but that was more for etiquette and everything else. But they
Yes.
threw the modeling in there, and if that was a plus, then that was a plus. But they
Yes.
wasn't walking in heels at that time. That was many years ago.
Yeah.
And I understand that culture has changed and everything, but I see that you still teach them, you know, that they're still little girls, they're still
Yep.
teenagers, they're still, and you keep that age appropriate, and that's what I like about it.
Correct.
I
It
like
is.
I just look at it and I said, my God. I saw when you had advertised for the little girls, I said, I wonder what she's gonna do with that. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I saw them coming out and I saw them just in regular clothes, I said, oh my God, yes. 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 This is what I'm talking about. Yes, 1,000 times. Yes. You don't see all of this big lipstick on them, not
Right.
unless it's in character. And I said,
Correct.
I love this, and I just, I can't get enough of it. That's just that I have, and I still look at the picture. I'm not going to show it because I don't want to share the picture with nobody because this is nothing. But I did put it on Facebook when we spoke the first time, and I
Yeah.
said that's my favorite picture, and I still have it. But
Yeah.
can you walk us through what a typical day at your modeling school looks like?
Okay. Um, I get a lot of interest in it. God told me to start that modeling agency like 4 years ago. And I'm gonna tell you, Black Diamond, I didn't want to. I felt like I had enough on my plate. I felt like that's dealing with more
Hmm.
people. But after I started it, the interest is still growing. I still have people that's asking, I still have people joining. But the typical day is first of all, we meet. We will come together. We will talk about upcoming shows. We'll talk about past shows because we'll talk about things that happened that does not need to happen again because it's a certain level of professionalism. Even though we might consider a
Hmm.
certain model amateur, like it's our first time walking, but there are certain things that we expect out of that individual as a model. A lot of them, all they need is to get their own swag. It's too many of them that
Hmm.
are listening to other people instead of just being or becoming who they are. So we meet, we'll discuss the past shows, we'll discuss the upcoming shows, and then we'll discuss their photos. We will discuss what they think that a model is or how a model should conduct themselves, and we tweak that accordingly because a lot of them, I remember one young lady saying, well, a lot of them in the show was walking and she showed how they were walking, and I told her, I said, that shows that you don't genuinely watch. Like I had watched Tyra Banks. I'm talking about
Hmm.
episode to episode, from season to season, not even realizing that I would be doing this type of work. But I said it shows that you don't watch because that's how some of them walk. Some of them walk with their pelvis thrust forward and their body leaned back. Everybody doesn't, but a lot of them do. I said, and when you see the different ways in the industry that different people walk, it's some that's just got an industry walk, which is just a straight up walk. It's some that they got their own sway, their own swag, their own personality to their walk, and that's fine too. But you cannot sit there and be like, oh, well, this walk isn't going to work or this walk isn't going to work, because there's plenty of walks that if you just cut off the top of the person, you would still be able to identify Naomi Campbell, or you would still be able to
Yeah,
identify
he
Tyra
has a
Banks because of
signature
how
walk.
they walk. So we get them to get into becoming a model, but still being who you are. We still want that peculiarness. We still want that authenticity. We still want you being who you are, but at the same time representing yourself and the brand well. So that's how we begin. We come together, we speak to them. What are your expectations? Then we tell them our expectations, and then we have them we'll have runway training. We'll have meetings where we discuss their confidence. We will talk about hair and makeup, because a lot of times you'll have makeup already
Mhm.
scheduled, but they don't show up for whatever reason, or they're running late. So we try to have them know just the basics, because a lot of shows, they just want a neutral look. So that's a simple look with simple foundation, simple eyeshadow, nothing outstanding, so that no matter what garment you're put in, the makeup
Mhm.
works. And then you'll have some that's a bold look. That designer has bold garments. They want bold makeup, but that's been very, very rare that I've seen. Very rare. Most of the bold looks are for photo shoots. But generally for a fashion show, it's neutral makeup, foundation, like gold on your eyes. Some of them allow a red lip, but most of them want that brown or that nude. They don't want your face, even though your face is in it, they want that garment to stand out more than you stand out,
Exactly.
because that's the purpose of
Exactly.
it. So that's the
Yeah,
typical.
they have to learn how to have their own signature walk. You have one young lady who I've also been following, and I've seen her. She's been with me for a few years, and I've seen her walk her very first walk, and then I looked at her again. I said, "Is this the same young lady?" And I
Right.
had to go back to look, and I said, "My God, look at her!"
Yeah.
And she's just developed so well with her walk. I would say if I knew her, and I'm going to try to find her picture again, she
Okay.
has her signature walk,
Do that,
and
because
she's
that's what
done
I
that.
like to hear. Yes, that's exactly what I like to hear, because it shows that there is growth. Because I had one photographer tell me, he was like, "This one, she's done come a long way. This one, she's done come a long way," because he's already out shooting
Hmm.
Greenville Fashion Week, Spartanburg Fashion Week. Is traveling out of town, and that speaks to the agency. I tell them, regardless of you being a model, you still represent the entire brand. So that's even if we go out, if you act a certain way, it reflects back on the agency. They're not going to be like,
Yeah,
this model acted crazy. They're going to be like, who is this model with? Oh, she's with Peculiar Princess. We don't want to work with them again because this occurred. So I always tell them to
yeah.
have a level of excellence and professionalism. But just you saying that makes me feel so good, because that's what I look for. Are we improving? Are we advancing? Are we going forward in what we are called to do? Because it's the motto is unleashing your uniqueness into the universe. So if you got that uniqueness, if you're peculiar, if you're different, it should be seen, and not the fact that you're trying to make it happen. It's just the fact
Yeah.
that you already an original. You already not a carbon copy. So just let the world see who you are as you walk, as you speak, because we'll train them on
Yeah.
that too. I'll get them up, spur of the moment. Speak, because some of you are brand ambassadors. So you'll be asked to speak about your brand. They'll modeling clothes for other people. They are going out to other events and they're being asked to speak. So I want it well rounded. I want you to represent Peculiar Princess well. Growth is a part of that.
What what skills do you believe are essential for success in the modeling world?
Listen, number one, you have got to be flexible. Oh my God.
And
In
flexibility.
this modeling
Hmm.
game, when you are going and you are serious, it has been shows that I have been a part of where everybody, hundreds of models are in one conference room. I'm talking about males, I'm talking about females, I'm talking about adults, I'm talking about kids, and that's the dressing room. It is crowded, it
Hmm.
is rushed. So it's a lot of people, and that's fine. It's a lot of people that are body shy, so they might have like a curtain up or whatever. But I'm trying to tell you, most of them folks not looking at you. They are in there getting dressed because they're walking for 5 designers at a time. Some of them back to
Hmm.
back to back.
One, two, three.
You
One, two,
have
three. Yeah.
flexible. You cannot go in, oh my God, this is, oh, it's too many people in here. Oh, it's because it's times that I've been in what seemed like a closet with 30
Mhm.
models, and we're all getting dressed and we're all running out and we're all coming back. You have to have flexibility, because it's not 1 or 2 hours, Black Diamond. The show might be at 6 in the evening, but you have to be there at 10 in the morning. That's hair, that's makeup, that's fittings when you're walking for more than one person. If you're a designer and a model, then you got to get fitted and you got to fit the models. So then you're running around for hours before the show even starts, making sure everything is lined up. So you have to be flexible. It's sometimes that models, they won't show up. It's times that they'll add models to the roster. It's times that models will walk up and ask you, do you have anything for me? My designer dropped out. I don't have anybody to walk for. And so I always bring extra garments of all different sizes, because that had happened more than
Mhm.
one time. And I always want to be prepared now, because when your designer doesn't show up and that's the only one you're walking for, then you don't put in time, you don't put in money, you're disappointed, the show producer's disappointed. So I try to make it easy and be accommodating and flexible in however I can, because girl, it's a wild house in the back behind the
I
curtains
can
where
imagine.
can't see is crazy. So being flexible and accommodating is necessary. It is first and foremost because you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know how much room you'll have. And then you don't know sometimes what kind of models you'll get because everything doesn't always flow smoothly. All of them don't always have good attitudes. Sometimes the designers come in, they feel entitled. It's a lot going on. You have to be
Yeah.
flexible. You have to let things run off your back like water off a duck's back. You have to be flexible. Don't accept that. Yep, that was kind of harsh, but don't take it in. Continue your work. This is your brand. You still got to stay focused no matter what's going on around you. You still have to maintain that professionalism. It was one time I almost got totally out of
Somebody's
character.
always watching.
Yes,
Somebody's always
and they
watching, and
are.
you never know. Yeah, people doubt. Yeah, this one is hard to
They
work with, and
are.
once you get that label of being hard to work with, you may stop being a
Listen,
model and want to be an actress. It's gonna follow you.
it
It's
will.
gonna follow you. You
It,
be glad if you get a job at McDonald's, and no shame against
right.
McDonald's, but I'm
But
just
that's
you
facts.
some I'm serious. It happens. You really have to
You
watch it. If this is something that you're serious about and you want to be a model, then while you at home, put your stuff all over the place, throw it all over the room, go into your closet and act like that's the space that you have, and you got to be
right.
able to manage it in the dark.
Yes.
Practice. Practice it because it's going to be perfected when you get out there because then you'll have it in your head. Well, I remember how I was doing it in the closet and whatnot, and I knew I
Yep.
had my stuff here and there. Sometimes you're going to have on a pair of shoes, you can be size 10, and only shoes that's there is a size 8.5. Girl, you're going to have to wear
Right.
those 8.5 and make it down
Yes,
that
ma'am.
daggone runway, acting like
I'm
you
aware.
got on a pair of shoes that fit.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you
That
get
is
them back, you take
exactly
them off and you keep it moving.
that is
See,
exactly
I know.
right.
I've seen,
Everything is
that's
not
I've
going
watched
to be
enough.
yes.
It's
Everything
not.
is not going to be the way that you want it, but you still got to walk out there like you absolutely got it together. It's been people, this is what I've been having to deal with, but what I'm eliminating. This is one of the hardest things is for me to deal with is when I started out, my mentor, Ms. Jennifer Baker, she's out of North Carolina. She does North Carolina Fashion Week twice a year. And I remember when I first started out, I put on a dress on the model and I said, how do you like that? She was walking by. She stopped walking by. She looked at me. She was like, you don't ask them how they like it. She was like, you give it to them. They put it on. And that's what they walk in. You're the designer. You put it on them and they walk it.
It's time to
I was
go.
like, okay, because I was
Next.
still learning. So then I started getting to the point where they were, ugh, I don't like this. Oh, I looked at, and it showed in my pictures, Black Diamond. When they took the pictures, the dislike for the garment showed to where I wouldn't even share those pictures because you could see on their face that they didn't like it. So now I've become more selective. I speak with the producers and communicate with them. With this model right here, I would prefer not to dress due to an issue that had arisen where they negatively spoke on a garment. And they understand because they say it doesn't matter if you put them in a garbage bag. They are to put that bag on and model it without
I don't have a
question.
problem with a garbage bag. I'll model a garbage bag in a minute. I'll take a garbage bag, a purse too,
Yes,
and I'll model in a minute, turn it and swirl it.
that's
Yeah, that bag. Yeah,
that's
man,
what it is.
sweet, please.
So
If you
it's
got
been
the,
difficult. That garbage bag
sometimes
though,
they're
one
just
designer
not ready.
literally did. One designer literally had a line of garbage bags. No, this year. This year in the summer, she had a garment, baby, that was made with freaking plastic spoons, Black Diamond. Plastic. When I tell you that thing looked good, when I tell you that model got on the runway and you could hear the spoons shh, shh, as she walked, I was like, oh my God. And see, that's what I'm talking about, the creativity in some people's brains and how they take it. I can't even remember how many spoons she said it took, but that thing looked so couture when she was done with it. That it's bananas that she had sewn a garment together and put the spoons on it, and it was couture and classy, and that model was tall and regal, that type of thing. So I like to work
Look,
with models who like, okay, you got me a stick, let me put this stick on, I'm gonna walk like that, like this stick is the most beautiful thing. And they just, I mean, I love it. So I'm starting to be more selective when they allow me to choose. Now, if they choose, I work with who they give me unless they get crazy. And I have had to talk about some producers. Listen, I might not be able to work with you anymore if you continue to have this model, because it hasn't been one time, it's been multiple times that things that they've done are unsavory. And I can't continue on with
Mhm.
that because I got a reputation, and I want my name when they say my name that they be like, I would work with her at any time. That type of thing. I want my
And I
name to
can see
continue
your
to remain.
door.
Yeah.
I
So
can see them beginning to knock down your door because I've been seeing
yes,
some amazing things coming
listen,
through you. I have, man. I'm just sitting there. And sometimes when I don't have anything else to do, and you would think it's a television show, I'm just sitting there watching because
but
I'm just
no,
intrigued by it. I'm saying
it's
I don't know what
funny.
anybody else may feel, but that's the way I feel.
You are confirmation, because I was sitting there, and I always talk to God about the upcoming year and what he wants. And that's what is next. I had to ask who could follow me and get content so that we could put together just a mini series just to see how it does, where they actually see what's going on behind the scenes, where they actually get to talk to some of the producers, some of the models, and then I have some input in there along the way as well, because when I've had people who were able to come with me and assist me, when they got in that car, Black Diamond, if you can see how they looked at me, because it was a mother and a daughter. So when we went, we were going to fit some models. And a lot of shows, they will allow me to style usually over the maximum number allowed, because they know that I
Mhm.
will. So it was a lot of, I mean, Black Diamond, this is what they were doing. Miss Stephanie, Miss Stephanie, Stephanie, Miss Stephanie. I'm talking about like 5 or 6 people at a time. And so then we got in the car. She was like, oh my God. She was like, I almost said, Mama. She was like, because I was so overwhelmed. She was like, they were just calling you from everywhere. I said, but this is what you do as my assistant. I said, if you see me working with somebody, then when they start yelling my name from all around, you'll be like, oh, please excuse me.
Interrupt.
Y'all, she will get
Absolutely.
with you after she's done with this model. I
Mhm.
said, you have the authority as my assistant to do that, because she was just learning to be the assistant. I said, you let them know, y'all, she will be with you when she's done. Because they will sit there, 10 people calling me while I'm talking to one model, like I'm able to address all 10 of you. And so she
And
got to
all they got to
see,
do is just turn to them and say,
that's
"Look,
it.
she's going to be with you in a minute. What do you need?" And then be looking
Right,
over the shoulder at the other one. What do you got? Your stuff is over
right.
here. Yeah,
And so I've also told them,
they'll learn.
as my assistant, if you see something hanging on this rack and it looks like that it fits them, if I'm working with this one over here, I say, you got full authority. This looks here, try this on. Here, try this on. I said, because your job is to help this flow smoothly. I said, you're
Hmm.
just starting out as my assistant, but you've been with me as with Peculiar Princess for over a year. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I like, you know what I put them in, you know how I want them to look,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
They
looking
have to
for.
know those clothes. They have to know
Right.
the clothes. They have to know what
Yes.
goes together. Because if you're
Thank you.
picking up a dress and somebody doesn't have anything here, this dress, those shoes go. Next
Yep.
person, this
That's
dress,
it.
that wig go. She'll get it. Whoever this person
That's
is,
it.
she'll
And
get it.
has.
She's probably a
She
little
has.
nervous and afraid that she can't approach those
Right.
models because she was on the other end. But
That's it.
get that
And
alligator
that's
skin
what she's
on
done.
and
She
let
has
them know
grown.
because
That's what she
I'm
has
glad
done.
for
She has
her.
grown to where now she knows. We bring them garments in. They already know, okay, over here is the garments that's already been assigned. Over here is the open garments. Put a body in it and let's go. Because she's seen the
Hmm.
chaotic things that happen behind the curtain. And I was like, baby, we don't got time. I've got this many models. Here's their names. Here's they, and they'll be like, are you Peculiar Princess? Yes, we are. I think I'm walking for you. Okay. And then sometimes if it's just me and my assistant sitting there, somebody walk up, I'll be like, okay, style them. I challenge, okay, style them.
Yeah,
Put them in something. Let me see what you'll give them, because I need this thing to flow regardless. My name is on the brand, but the brand is a whole entity that I don't need to stop, even if I were not to be there. And so it's been plenty of times
mhm.
where people will ask me to come to a show. I said, I'm already booked. And they will be like, well, can you send your garments? Can you send a representative? Yes, I sure can. And I think that's major to be asked. Number
It
one,
is.
can't be there personally, and then two, to still have your brand so that you in two freaking places at one time, that standard of excellence is what I want to grow even more.
And make sure they get those pictures of
Yes,
you being one place and your stuff being someplace else, and
yes,
just letting it know that on these days they have to be on point. How has the
yes.
modeling industry changed since you began your career?
Okay. Mm, and this is what's sad because this is what I see. I don't see a lot of growing in excellence. I see a lot of things that just are allowed because people either want to do a show or they want to model. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is training involved. There's a certain level of excellence that's involved because anybody can say, I'm going to put on a show, bring in some models, bring in some designers, and put on that show. But when it's a level of excellence, it's a designer, Skip Waller. He's out of North Carolina as well. My 10-year-old niece was with me when he had his first show. She was back there while I was designing. At the end, she said, That's the best show that I have ever seen. She was like, the show was organized. She was like, the models were respectful because they were. If I was speaking, they did not yell. They were waiting patiently. They would come up if they weren't walking for me, like, do you have anything extra that I could wear? But it flowed so smoothly, Black Diamond, that it was like it wasn't work. That it wasn't, I didn't have to put forth effort. It just came, fit. You saw the whole, everybody was so good. So I see, I hate to call it a lack of excellence, but that's what it is. So that now I ask, okay, what's your vision? What are you doing? What do you need from me? Even though God usually determines which one I do, because it was one I wanted to do in Florida. It was like at Disney World or Disneyland or something. And he was like,
Okay.
no. And I said, "Oh my God, like I really wanted to go." He said, "No, you're not doing that one." Then there's some that I don't want to do. And he'd be like, "Nope, I'm gonna need you to do that one." And a network will be established out of that. Even though I didn't want to go, it was reasons that he had me to go. But it's some things look like that they're just thrown together. It's unprofessional and it's not a lot of
Mm.
everything I want to do. I want it to be the next step. You want to go the next step
So
forward.
how do you address issues like diversity and inclusion in the modeling world?
With me, mine is all inclusive. I've been in some where they want to allow, and that's their right. They want to allow homosexuals to walk or transgender or any of that. I don't
Mm.
discriminate with anybody. We style everybody. Um, I ask that everybody respect everybody's individualness,
Okay.
but I
Mm.
I expect a level of integrity in the business. Whatever you doing, you do. But when it comes to that business, that business is your focus. We were traveling to
Yeah.
North Carolina, me and my assistant. We went to QT. The little lady, the cashier, it was real rude. She was sitting there ignoring us, like we were right in front of us. She was right in front of us, and she was serving everybody but us. And I looked at her, and I just stood there and watched the cashier. And then my assistant was like, "Oh, she don't see us." And all I did was look at her and I said, "We're on peculiar princess business." And she was like, "You right." So we just sat there and waited till the lady finally acknowledged us. Now I'm telling you, if we were on peculiar princess business, I don't know what would have got handled, but it was, I knew that I was on assignment, that Stephanie could not show out because this wasn't even Stephanie. This is the
Yeah.
CEO of Peculiar Princess. And like you said, people are watching. Who knew who was in that store that would have seen that and eventually seen me in something else and be like, no, I remember her. She showed out in QT. But I expect them to
That's right.
respect that brand to where if we're doing a show between the hours of 10 and 8, that's what I expect your focus to be. After eight
Yeah.
o'clock,
Check it at the door.
then whatever you do, that's on you. They ain't got nothing to do with me. But I expect no matter who you are, no matter what you believe, no matter what creed, religion, gender, that my brand be respected because I respect everybody. I do not, because a lot of people will not know I don't
Cool.
work with them. Honey, God has me in positions where I'm working with people who are of all nationalities, of all religions. And a lot of people got a lot to say about that. And I'm sitting there thinking, he told me to go out into the world. He told me to do this. So he's going to put me with people along that path who is going to perfect and help me get where I'm supposed to take this vision. And all of them not going to look like me. All of them not going to talk like me.
No, they're
Some
not.
of them have the nuggets that I need to even go further in what I need to do. Baby, listen. I sit there and wait for God to speak to me. And then I'll work with these people. And then some stay for a season, some still with me now, but I can't focus on that. What do you want me to do? So I
So
don't,
it took a while.
yeah,
It took a long while for us to get into this modeling world. And when the first model came through as an African American model,
yeah,
the world was a buzz. What are
right.
some common misconceptions about modeling that you'd like to dispel?
That it's easy. That it's just being cute. Because if you are genuinely like, when he called me to model, I was the assistant designer. I mean, I was the assistant to a custom made designer, Shanika Walker of Elegant Essentials. She's in Simpsonville. But we went to excuse me, we went to LA Fashion Week, went to Miami Fashion Week, we went to Coastal Fashion Week in Alabama. I mean, she's traveling all over. And once I saw the chaos, girl, if you could have seen, it's not easy. You saw people who were there and they were practicing their walk. Okay, they had been modeling for years, but they were still over there in the mirror practicing their walk. Some of them had model coaches with them right there,
Oh wow.
coaching them on the walks, coaching them on if a dress is too long. Like I was in the show Saturday. Yeah, I was in the show Saturday. And then I realized, okay, you need coaching on when it's a long dress, it's a long train. Because I almost did the Beyonce a couple of times and my heel got caught in the hem and I almost fell like 3 or 4 times on the runway in different dresses. And so I was like,
Oh
I've
wow.
got to, number one, I go to YouTube, I Google, I watch what they say on there, and then I'll reach out to modeling coaches that I know and be like, show us how to walk in a long evening gown where you might trip over it. But yes, my heel kept getting caught in the hem of the train. And I was like, okay, I have to
Wow.
perfect this because I watched my walk and I could see that I was uncomfortable and I could see where my foot got caught in it. Now somebody else was like, "Oh my God, that walk," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's what you see." But being that I know, I saw it. Okay, you tripped up right there. Yep, your heel got caught right there, and look at your face. You're
A
not
lot
even
of times
fully
they don't even know that something happened, and you can keep your composure, and you know that
and
you've
that's what
almost
I did.
tripped or
So
whatever. They won't
it's
know if you
not
keep that
easy.
composure.
And that's
Yeah,
what I tell them. It doesn't matter what happened. You
keep
keep
composure.
walking. Like one time, somebody heel broke. They kept on walking. Then when they came off, they were like, "Y'all,
Keep
my heel broke." But
walking.
I didn't know it till it came off. I didn't know it till it came off because they didn't say a word. But it's not easy. You are cute. The pictures are phenomenal. But it is a freaking job. It's a lot of money, Black Diamond, that people don't realize. You put money in that. A lot of times you got to pay to be in the show. You got to travel out of town. You got to stay in a hotel. Some of them for to wear their garments, you got to pay them to wear their. I mean, it's a lot
Wow.
to put in. But once you get in there, if you say a name, okay, yeah, I want her to model for me. It's some shows that when you're allowed to choose the models, you better hurry up and choose because those who are established in the game, they get snatched up really quickly because they represent so well. And so that's
What do
what
you
you
hope
want.
that your What do you hope that your students take away from their experiences at your school?
I want them to be fully confident in who they are becoming. Who you are, you might not be satisfied with. But who you
Mhm.
becoming, baby, there's nothing stopping you from becoming who you're supposed to be. And so a lot of people were like, well, what if I don't know what that is? I said, baby, no, you're not listening to yourself. Because when yourself is talking to you, like it's in my gut. When God's speaking to me, it's in my gut. If something's not right, it's in my gut. If I'm at peace with something, then I know that that's right. But I can feel it in my gut. Some people will say something, they be like, but it's in my gut. People will sit there and say to me, something told me to. But something told me to. I said, and that's the problem. You're not listening to who you are becoming. You're second guessing and allowing other people to tell you. I've talked to people and they'll be like, well, my family, they don't think that this gonna work out. I said, okay, you can listen to them or you can be who you're supposed to be, because you're already modeling. So I'm still not understanding how you're not doing what you're supposed to do. If you're already modeling, you're already in shows, you're already in demand, but you're going to stop and listen to somebody tell you that you can't do what you're already doing. That
Right.
doesn't make sense. That doesn't
Exactly.
make sense.
I heard
That
some
just,
I heard some
go ahead.
talk about your I heard some talk about your glitz and glamour around the world on the runway for 2025. Can you talk a little
Yeah,
bit about that?
that is
Yeah, I told you I
Jacinda.
follow you. I know.
You do though, but yes, that's what I love. Listen, I was when we first started this thing in 2019. The dressing room was not, like I said, now not large. So one of the designers was like, "Y'all tell me, y'all give me y'all feedback." And so like the dressing room's too small. We didn't have room to do this, this, and this. And then it hit me. They can speak from one side of the spectrum, like they're speaking as a model. Okay, I had a meeting. I said, everybody in this business that's a designer or a model, you got to put on your own show. All of you. You got to get the
Wow.
venue, you got to get the designer, you got to get the models, you got to get the vendors, you got to do the lineup, you got to get the DJ, you got to do all of that. That changed the game, because when you're
I
on
can
the
see that.
model aspect,
Wow.
yeah, you complain about a whole lot. But when you're having to put that thing together, yes. Did you
It's
give
a
them
totally different thing.
and it was. So Jacinda Rogers, her birthday is in April. So every first Saturday in April, that's how she celebrates her birthday. And she has a fashion show in Georgia, because I've got models from all over. I even got models that not even in this state city with me. But when we meet, we come together on the conference call. Sometimes we meet in person, but they are still included. They still get the information about shows and photo shoots and all that. But she puts on a
So
show.
what's next for you and your modeling school?
Wow.
What's
So
next for you? Yeah, because
um
I know there's a lot coming up.
it
Any
is.
exciting projects or plans on the horizon?
You already know the New York Fashion Week is coming up in February. Already,
Yeah.
they done already got my roster. I've got two models from my agency that are coming with me. Then we do that again in September. So in February and September, we always do New York Fashion Week, always with the same production company, Beauty is Everywhere, with Renee. Love Renee. And we go to New York. We set off up there. I love it. Like he had told me one time, and it really touched me, and he said, I have a lot of people asking to walk for you. And I was like, what? He was like, especially plus size models and older lady. He
Okay.
was like, because you got that classy look. You dress them classy, which I do. Now I love that glitzy, classy, long, hit the floor gown. I love the sequins. I love the sparkles, all of that. But that impressed me because, like you said, people are watching. I had no clue until he told me. I had no clue. So, but we've got that coming up. My 2025 is bananas. And I've got to get with you because I still want us to have the Met Gala. But I want to have it wherever you are. I want us to connect, collaborate. I want to tell my models we about to hit the road. But that's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get them out of, we're in a small town. Anderson is a small town, and Anderson has a small mindset. So when you speak of things, they don't believe it. But I tell people they don't have to. The vision that he gave me, it
Well,
wasn't for somebody else to believe. It was for me to carry out. And so that's what I
I'm
do.
in the DMV area, and I know that they had one here. Because I've heard about it. I didn't attend it, but I heard that they had one here, and they said it was pretty
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
Just so many people that just came out, and the things that they were wearing, I was like, oh my god, why I didn't go?
Yeah, that's what I
But it
want.
was just it was phenomenal. You really got to connect with them because it's they would definitely love your pieces there. They would love for you to be there. I think that you would bring that thing. I think that's what they need. That's what's missing. They do a great job. I'm not taking that from them,
I
but
know
they
what you're
do a
saying.
great job. You're a woman who knows exactly who you are
Yes,
and will
ma'am.
not hesitate to tell anyone.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
walk that catwalk and are prepared to walk into your greatness. What
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
most significant change you've seen in yourself over the past years?
Ooh. Oh, that's such a good question. I've I've learned to exercise. Like before, I was really impatient. I mean, really impatient, to where what I thought, that's what I said. Sit down. Now it's like we're all being cultivated. We are all, you know, when you cultivate, that means, okay, you got to dig up the dirt, you got to take out the weeds, you got to, water it and all that good stuff. And it has taught me you can't say everything you think. You can't do everything you want to do the way that you operate in this business, because you are growing people and you are building people, that there's a way to handle everything. Everything. Because it was at New York Fashion Week where I almost lost. And I remember that. That was the one time, because I always tell them act professionally, no matter where you go, no matter what's going on, because you will encounter some things, you will encounter some people. And they had scheduled the makeup really close to the lineup. So I was walking at 2, but some of their makeup was like 140. So one of my
Oh
models told
wow.
another one of my models, get dressed before you go do makeup, because I asked her that way I could be ready to walk. So my model did it, the one from Greenville, and she said, "Can I put my dress on and put my robe on?" I said, "Please, that way you'll be ready." The other model didn't. We walked back. After walking, she started yelling at me, and I was like in shock. Like I wasn't even thinking like, and then I said, "Wait, first of all, I know." And then it hit me and I stopped and I just stood there because I was talking to myself. And so the girl was still going off. And then finally, one of the assistants to the production company, they said, "Come on, we can find you somebody else to walk for. Let's see who else is walking." And then the assistant came to me and was like, "It's okay." And I was like, I had nothing to do. She was like, "We know." But the parents came to me and were comforting me, because she had already told my mother said, "No, I told her, get dressed first
Wow.
and then wear your robe and cover up." But it's that type of thing. Oh, Jesus! I
See,
just think
some of them have to leave that divaness
and do
behind, no matter what they may feel. And, because you see it. I know you see it, and
yes,
sometimes you can see it in their walk, because
yes,
it's just a little bit too much.
yes, ma'am.
Show the clothes, fashion the clothes. They're not worried about your arms going like that, not unless you have something that needs that
Correct.
extra attention up here. But
That's
other
right.
than that, it's the clothes. It's
It
not your
is.
body.
It is.
Because if that's the case, they can put a robot out there and let the robot
Correct.
walk on down it. Sister, please,
Correct.
please,
You are
please,
correct,
please
though.
keep me in.
That
I,
is
I'm saying
correct.
I've seen it. I'm not a professional with it. I watch, and
You
look, I'm like a
do.
couch potato. I say my little things and like, oh, you girl, you shouldn't have did that.
Uh huh.
Oh, I
Uh huh.
see now. So that's just me keeping it to myself. I'm not going to dare write anybody and tell them anything about what they're doing. They have you and other people like you that's there to do
Yes.
it. But I have a good time being at home
Me too,
watching
though.
and whatnot. And your replays, I sit back and I say, I know she's gonna get them.
Yep.
I know she's gonna get them.
Listen.
I know something's gonna be said. But
That's
please,
what.
please, please keep me in mind for the September. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna
Okay.
be there. I'm
Yes.
gonna walk with you in September. A
Please.
little February, I think is a little bit too late. But I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be ready. I had surgery earlier this year, so I know I wasn't even ready. But I'm
Okay,
ready.
good though, because
Princess,
I've
princess.
already
Yeah, I'm
told
definitely gonna be there.
I already had one model to ask me, and I said they've already given me my roster. So I said, but I'm already planning for September, because I do. That's my desire, to have my whole roster filled. Well, y'all know I call y'all my people. I be claiming I want my whole roster to be my people. Well, everybody that's on my roster is my people. Like a lot of times I have some sign up, but then I have where they fill it in. But I want everybody that walks for me to be somebody
I
I
will
know.
surely
And
be there. I am so sorry I couldn't make it
so
this time when you invited me, but I
because they
will
had
be there.
already did this time. I was assigned to a lady, to Miss Deb Landry, and so they had already filled up the roster or whatever. So then I just had the two that's coming with me. But usually I'd be able to put it out there. But once one of my models reached out to me and I said they've already did the roster. I said, but that's why I'm planning for September, so I can already have my people, so we can already be getting stuff together, because I want us to do the stuff that I see them doing out there. They be out on the streets doing little cute runway shows, doing photo shoots. I
Yeah,
want us
I
out
see. I've seen that. Yeah, being from New York,
there. That's
I've
what we
seen
do.
it over in the village and whatnot. But Princess, thank you so much for joining us tonight and
Thank
sharing your
you.
incredible story. Your passion for empowering others and redefining beauty is truly inspiring.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much.
Looking to learn more about the Peculiar Princess Modeling Agency. Princess, how can someone who would like to start in a modeling career connect with you?
Okay. On Facebook, I'm Stephanie Johnson Rice. I try to keep that simple. So just my name. On Instagram is at Peculiar Princess. And then my email, peculiarprincess2019 at gmail.com. And my number, 864-762-1485. Any of those ways you can reach out to me. Now give me a minute to get back. A lot of people think I'm able to instantly respond, but I'm in so many shows. I got so many texts, and then that's not the only area. I'm a mentor. I'm a coach. I'm a minister. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a poet. So
See, she does
I
it
get
all.
all kind of I get all kind of messages. So that thing be full by the time I wake up in the
And
morning.
if you
So,
missed any of that, watch the replay, write
woo,
it all down. And
thank
as
you
always,
so much.
thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank you all for tuning into Basic Black After Dark. Remember, this is the show that meets you where you are and gives you what you ask for. Join us December the 20th. My guest is Nurse Carla Scipio, who knows all too much about women's health. We are talking about the big M, menopause. Until next
Yes.
time, take care and stay inspired. After 8, After Dark.